Uh, Once again, a very good morning to each and every one of you. My name is Akanksha, and basically, I'm doing chartered management accounting. And I've been working with Dad for about 6, 7 years now with regards to whatever that he's been doing because of the interest and the way that I have seen we have been able to help people. So I thought, okay, fine, accounting is different, and if there is a possibility of helping more people, there's definitely that's something that I can always do. And that's when that I started working closely with Dad, and we have done quite a bit of things. I have learned quite a bit of things, and today's session is basically only about knowledge sharing. So one thing that I've always learned is if you're going to need or take the next step in with regards to anything in life, the first aspect that you can do is get knowledge. All right. So knowledge is something that is massive, that is huge. You can gain knowledge in different ways, and that's where we thought sharing this knowledge about terahertz water, or basically what are the different things we have learned over the years. So all of which we are talking right now, this has taken us many number of years for us to learn, for us to read, and for us to come to the next extent of telling other people. So we hope that you gain a lot of more information today, and you basically gain more clarity. In the end, knowledge is what is going to help us make decisions, and I hope you make the best decisions with regards to your health. So now, introducing Dr. Prabhu Kumar Raju. So what is he? He's basically a medical doctor. He has been a doctor for the last 32 years, and he is specialized in ear, nose, and throat. So he is an ENT surgeon, and beyond that, he has many other degrees. So one prominent degree that he has is a diploma in epigenetics. So you may ask, what is epigenetics? I'll touch upon that shortly. So he's one of the very few doctors in the world to get this diploma in epigenetics. And I'm extremely proud to say that, it is not easy to get this diploma because this is an extremely new subject. Not many people are doing it, but this subject of epigenetics has been in the European countries for over 20 years. People have been talking, people know what is epigenetics. But when you come to the Asian countries, not many of us know. When you take India itself, when we were talking to our doctors here, the first question they will ask is, what is epigenetics? What are you talking about? So we say that epigenetics is something to do with going to the root cause of diseases. All right. So a little more on that I will touch upon. He's also the member of the European Wellness Academy. Okay, so basically the European Wellness Academy is with regards to stem cells. So we have a company called Golden Hands Epigenetic Solutions, as you can see above, and we have been working in Malaysia for the last 20 years. We are into the preventive healthcare industry. Now, what is preventive healthcare? We are basically something where we look at the body in a holistic approach. So when you go to a normal doctor, they will just see what is the issue. They will try to fix that issue either through medicines or other means. But what we are trying to do is we are telling it's not only the body that we have to work on. There are many other aspects. So we look at the body, we look at the mind, and we look at the soul. We say that all these three aligned together is what keeps us healthy. So let's say that you don't have a healthy mind. That is definitely going to affect your body in some way or the other. So we try to work on the body as a whole. We look at it as a whole, and we try to we don't give solutions for a specific problem. We try to look at ways where we can be healthy on an overall level. And then what else we have been doing? So Dr. Prabhu has also been in biovibes analysis. So what is biovibes? It's basically, you might have heard Reiki, Tai Chi, Qigong. It is basically energy. So he's done a research on energy medicine where he has checked over 20,000 people, and he has come to amazing conclusions where we can see that the brain waves is inversely proportional to your biovibes or your energy. Next, when we talk about hair root analysis, this has been quite a pillar for us when we were doing the epigenetic study. So hair root analysis is from a German company, and they have come out with a device where you just need 3 strands of your hair, and we'll be able to tell you what is happening in your body at the moment. And then when we go to microcirculation, that is also, so all of this, what you can see here on the side, is basically with regards to epigenetics or preventive healthcare or holistic healthcare. All right. Now, microcirculation and live cell analysis is almost the same, but the only difference is that in live cell analysis, you use a drop of blood. So basically, we look at your blood, we see what is happening. We look at, how beautiful your red blood cells are. Even your blood cells have to be in a specific size, viscosity, and all of that is extremely important. And then we look at bioresonance analysis. This is also similar to hair root analysis, where we look in a deeper picture as to what is happening inside your body on an overall level. And finally, stem cell therapy. Yes, again, I was talking with regards to European wellness. So this is what stem cell therapy is, what they have been doing. They have been pioneers in all over the world. They have clients from, let's say, from the highest ranging people. So this is something, a small introduction. There is lot more that we have done, and today's episode is basically on salt and water. Now, for me to quickly talk about epigenetics. What is epigenetics? You might have heard this before, you might have not. So, if you have not, welcome to the world of epigenetics. Epigenetics is basically the layer outside the DNA. It's not exactly a layer, but it is something that is outside your DNA. We all know that DNA is the what do you call, genetics that you get from your parents, right? So whether it is your height, whether it's how you look, most of these are given by our parents. All right. Now, what does epigenetics do? Epigenetics is 800 different factors that is going to affect the way that the DNA is going to be read. All right. So all this information that we have is stored in your DNA. Now, for our body to read that information, it is going to take some time. There are certain mechanisms that the body takes, and then it reads the information. Now, epigenetics is going to affect the way that that information is going to be read. All right. We might not understand the what do you say, the importance of epigenetics, because we have never been taught about it. But when you look at it, these 800 different factors play a wide role in whatever that is there in your DNA. So let's say that you might have something genetically. All right. Now, for that to be shown as a disease, these 800 different factors are going to play a really important role. What are these 800 different factors? It is simple things like the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat, the cosmetics that you use, the toxins that are around us. So when I'm talking like this, the list is endless. All right. And each and every second around us, there is something that is going on around us. We know there is so much of toxins in our air right now. We know there are so many different chemicals that are around us. We know that there are so many things that we use, we don't even know what is inside it. Okay. So all of these things are going to affect the way that the DNA is going to be read. And this is something that we have to pay great attention to. Okay, make sure that after this talk, please go and read about epigenetics. It's a beautiful subject. And now, today, with regards to water, why is water important? Because 70% of the world is covered with water. Our body is also 70% containing water. So we can gladly say that water is something very, very important to us. All right. Even without food, we can survive, but without water, it is going to be very difficult. And why is that? Because water plays an important role in whether you talk about detox or whether you talk about keeping yourself healthy. There are a lot of things water plays an important role with, and Dr. Prabhu will definitely touch upon that. And now, salt. This is something that we use in the least quantity in our food on a daily basis. All right. We can never use too much of a salt, but what we have to understand is what is the importance of this salt. So there are about 10 to 15 different types of salt available in the world today. Okay. So what is salt? We all know it is white. We are going to be using it for better taste. But apart from the better taste, what is it that it is going to be doing? It plays an important role in many, many things. All right. So I won't go into details of that. Dr. Prabhu will take over that. and he will talk about why is salt important and what is about salt and water. So I hope all of you have a great session. Thank you again for joining us and giving it over to Dr. Prabhu.
Fantastic introduction, Akanksha. Thank you very much for this wonderful information which you shared. I think it will tickle everybody's brain to see health from a different perspective, different area of understanding of health. It is not just looking at your blood test or whatever they understand, but today we need to go a little more detail. And I felt it was this topic a day ago, that the salt plays a fantastic and important role in our day-to-day life. Without salt, we don't eat. So most of us know that salt plays a very important role. But why I added upon the water and salt is because our today's topic is all about water. But at the end of the day, the water is basically a carrier. You know, if you look at the first trading which happened, it was through the sea. That means people came in from different countries through the ship, and then they were trading whatever businesses they were going on. So water became a modality of transportation. So in the same way, when you're looking at water in our body also, it is basically a transporter. You know, it carries the things from one place to another. Now, in that way, water plays such a important role of carrying the whole burden of good or bad along with it, and the body has to decide what it wants and what it doesn't want. So coming back to the salt, salt is basically a mineral, and it has been used by the human beings as far as our knowledge goes is around 6000 BC. And what is the main ingredient of salt is sodium chloride. Now, other than that, if you look at, it does have a little bit of anti-caking properties where they add on so that the salt doesn't become a solid, you know, so it has to flow easily. So that's where they add a little bit of sodium amino silicate and then the magnesium carbonate and sodium ferrocyanide. It is basically, these are all used to make the salt a little more easy for it to flow. Now in the market, you all know that because thyroid issue has been quite rampant everywhere in especially developing countries, iodized salt came into the picture, wherein along with the sodium chloride they added potassium iodide so that it helps the deficiency of iodine and thereby help the prevention of thyroid issues. Now, other than that, if you look at, there are something called double fortified salt, which has sodium, then potassium, and along with that, it does have iron and B9. Vitamin B9 is basically a folic acid, especially necessary for women when they are pregnant. You know, for the babies to have a proper nervous growth. You mean the neural tube, basically your brain. You need a lot of vitamin B9. So people are very smart in adding up all these into the salt so that little can help you to go a long way. And of course they have added even fluorine in your salt so that fluoride deficiency has something to do with your dental area, so they have added fluoride. Now what is happening is along with sodium, you need to consume potassium as well, which is also plays a very important role in balancing your cellular level. Now here there are different types of, I'm not going to go into the details of the different types of salt, but there is something in the bigger thing I have put is the Korean bamboo salt. Now if you look at the pricing also, the Korean bamboo salt is definitely a little pricey when compared to the other salt which is available in the market. Now, if you're looking at Korean bamboo salt, it is basically expressed in terms of either 3 burn, 6 burn, and 9 burn. This is the number of time the salt gets burnt inside a furnace. And this technology, and this is basically a cultural heritage in Korea. And they have done a fantastic methodology wherein they produce a bamboo salt wherein it contains almost 80 minerals and nutrients inside the salt. And the best part of the Korean bamboo salt is when you burn the salt the sixth time, 6 burns, sixth time it goes into the furnace and comes out, it becomes a medicinal salt. Now, this is something amazing. Why they call it as medicinal salt? For the reason that it starts giving the body an advantage to heal. Now, can you heal? People consuming this Korean bamboo salt, there are a lot of testimonies available there, talking about blood pressure reducing, their diabetic wound healing, diabetes. Of course, I'm not going into the detail of it, but what I'm trying to explain is this is an amazing salt which is available, and that you all have to look into it to, consider in your dining table, where keep a bamboo salt. A minimum 6 burn will definitely help you. A 9 burn is a little more expensive, and that can be used if you're having a lot of complicated issues. You just add on to your diet so that it becomes a tool for healing. I'm talking about healing. Okay, now healing is a process where our body knows what to do, what not to do. So anything when you overdo also is a problem. Now you would have seen that whenever you have a blood pressure, doctors would tell you reduce your salt. Now what they mean by reduce your salt is they are talking about the white salt, which is more poisonous to you. With all the toxins inside, it's more poisonous. So when you're consuming the white salt, definitely it's going to hamper your the sodium and potassium chloride balance in your cell. So that's why doctor wants to reduce it, and it's good for you. But by reducing the salt, aren't you hampering the cellular function from other bodies, other organs of your body? Yes, it will affect a little bit. On one side, you want to bring down your blood pressure alone. Now, do you think that just blood pressure alone is very important for your health? No, isn't it? There are so many other factors which you need to keep in balance. That is when you are able to live a healthy lifestyle. So what I would wish is, there are, of course, one of the main I'm going to touch upon today is the electrolyte balance inside and outside the cell is a very, very important. Now, other than that, people are using it to remove the negative energy, putting it in the fire to remove the energy. And in a wedding ceremony in Russia, they all use the salt to bless the couple. And it's used as, in India, left and right, people are using pickle, wherein they use it as a preservative. And even for the dead, after you are no more on this planet Earth, people sprinkle salt so that it acts like a preservative, and it doesn't rot very easily. So these are the simple main uses. I'm going to let us go into a much more. Now, balance is the key for everything, whether you like it or not. In our creation, there is something called intracellular and there is something called extracellular, two areas. Now, there is a constant flow of water, sodium, potassium, chloride, and magnesium, and there are a lot of other ions which are there inside the cell. Now, what happens is there is a balance between the inside and the outside. Very important. And here what I've mentioned is there is a 290 milliosmol pressure. It maintains. If intracellular is 290, extracellular also should be 290. Now, have you ever went and checked your cell, what is the pressure inside? No, isn't it? Because at the cellular, we don't even know. And most of us don't even realize that there is an imbalance happening. So if at all you're practicing something, the wrong food, the wrong way of drinking water, and these all will definitely affect your intracellular and the extracellular. In that way, just a simple example, you're going for an exercise, okay, fantastic. You're going for a brisk walk. You may not sweat more. So there might be a little bit of probably around 100 ml or 200 ml of water coming out of your sweat glands, Now, even in the sweat gland, there are sodium, potassium, and all the ions there inside the cell, your sweat gland, which is the same as in the cell level. Now, when you go for an exercise, there is a little bit of water which has to come out of your body through the sweat glands, and then you sweat out. Now, when you are sweating out, of course, the amount of water going out of your body can range from 500 ml to 2 liters. This is 2 liters. I'm talking if you're doing a vigorous exercise, that is when you lose so much of water. Means the body throws it out. Now, when you're looking at, just visualize yourself, there is a sweat gland, which is, there under your skin, and then inside there is water and all the other sodium, potassium, all the ions are there. Now, only water goes out, maybe 20-30% of the water comes out and it comes as sweat. Now, what happens inside the sweat gland? What happens? It concentrates. So that means your sodium, potassium all become concentrated. Now, what happens? It's the same like when the cell inside the concentration increases. So automatically it needs to balance with the outside. So this is when you start drinking either the isotonic drink for your body to replenish. Now, what is isotonic is, it contains all the ingredients of potassium, sodium, glucose, and other things. What is there inside the cell is the same in the isotonic drink which they sell in the market. So what they are trying to tell you is we are giving you to drink so that it is the same as what is inside the cell. Now, what happens is the extracellular concentration of iron also, if it is more, simple, the extracellular concentration of whatever the ions is more, the intracellular, in that way, the best example I can give you, I told you 290, right? Now let us increase it to 390. The pressure outside is 390 because it's very concentrated. Now the intracellular will think over, hey, I'm only 290. This guy outside is already 310, you know. What is happening? So I need to do something. So what it will do, it will actually, normally it is a two-way mechanism. No? There are two doors, one going inside, one going outside. It's something like that. Now imagine when there is an imbalance inside and outside, it becomes one way. That means from the cell, the water is pushed out and made it into a balance. This is what the cell does. Now the same thing is the other way. If your cell has got less of water, you know, automatically the extracellular will push the water and try to balance. Now, when the body is trying to balance everything, the problem is we are not drinking sufficient amount of water, we are not taking sufficient amount of salt. What happens? There is an imbalance happening. Now, if this happens over a period of 3 to 6 months, don't you think you will start facing some problem? Definitely yes. If your concentration of sodium is very high in your body, definitely your blood pressure is going to shoot up. It's an automatic phenomena. That's why the doctor tells you reduce your salt. Now how do you know? You should look back into your lifestyle and what you have been eating for the past 6 months to 1 year. And some people, I would say, for the years together, they're eating the same junk food and then thinking that their health is going to be better. No way you can look at a better health by eating all the. So you need to see what does your plate contains. Automatically, that is what is your health also depends on that area. Now, let me go into a little more so that you understand. So we all need to understand that we have the four stages in our body. One is your cell, second is your tissues. Cells all put together is your tissues, third is your organ, and the fourth is your human body. Now, most of the time, whenever you visit a doctor, what happens is you just go and tell the doctor, doctor, I'm feeling a little bit giddy. So what happens? The doctor immediately will check your blood pressure and say, hey, your blood pressure is slightly on the higher side. So that means to say there has been some metabolic imbalances happened already at the cellular level and the tissue level, and it is manifesting at the blood level. So automatically blood pressure is high. Now what happens? The doctor immediately thinks that the blood pressure high, he thinks of the complication. What happens? If your blood pressure is high, you may get a heart attack, you may get a stroke. There are so many other problems which you may relate with the high blood pressure. So what the doctor doesn't want is, he doesn't want you to go into a stroke. Just imagine you have an attack of stroke and imagine for 6 months you cannot get up and walk, only one side of the body is functioning, you cannot swallow the food properly, some people cannot go to the toilet, cannot control the urine. There are so many complications you will face because of the stroke. Now, you're lucky if you recover from the stroke. If you're not, what happens? You will be crippled all through your life just by one stroke. So the doctors are so concerned about the situation where they don't want you to go into a stroke. That is where they want to bring down the blood pressure as soon as possible. And they do a fantastic job by giving you the medication to bring it down. But the doctor is not going to tell you, sir, for the past so many years, whatever you have done, that's the reason today, and that's what you're going to do. So they are not going to correct what you did the wrong. They are not going to. They're only correcting the present situation. So it's beautiful, no issues. But today, you need to understand that look beyond what you are today concerning about your health is something more. Look at from the quantum science level wherein you look from above and then everything looks so beautiful. Next, salt becomes a very, very important integral part. As I told you, it plays a very important role in your balancing of intracellular and extracellular fluid, and water also plays a very important role. Now coming back to the water what you drink plays a very, very important role because it is a transporter, means it's a vehicle for it to take things and take out things as well. So now if you are drinking appropriate amount of water, so how much of water a person has to drink, it's basically calculated 42 into your body weight. So if your body weight is around 50 kgs, so what you need to do is multiply by 42. But if you're a person working a little more harder and from probably in the hot sun outside, then your water, you need a little more. That means 43 into your 50 kgs of weight is the total amount of water you need to drink for that day. But still, I would say in a hot weather, you may require a little more than whatever we are prescribing to you. You may need another additional of 1 or 2 glasses of soup, because when you feel thirsty, you have to drink a little more water. Now, other than that, you need to have the right molecular structure of the water so that it can go inside. It's easy, isn't it? Now, just imagine yourself, you have a huge body, and your probably your size is about 2 feet, and the door you want to enter inside your house is just 1 feet or 1.5 feet. You cannot enter inside, isn't it? The same way, if the molecules are bigger, it cannot penetrate inside your cellular level and thereby help you in hydration. So you need to assist your body for it to heal. I repeat, you need to help your body to heal. Do not look for cures under the sun for anything what you have. Just help your body to heal. It knows what to do. The cure will automatically come when there is a healing process happening. If, for example, your sodium inside is less, for example, you have diarrhea, and then what happens? Go to a doctor, he will give you ORS. You just mix it in water and drink it. What happens? He's just replenishing the fluid which you already passed through the loose motion, and he's replenishing. So you recover faster. You would have experienced. So in that way, nobody is going inside the cell and seeing how the body is going to take the sodium, take the potassium, and then heal itself. Nobody does that. We just drink it and then we feel the benefit. So we are so lucky that our body is so beautifully manufactured that it can do the job what it needs to do, and what we need to do is just give a support, nothing else. It's just a support. Just do that, everything starts falling in place. Now, this is for people who are still not aware of the functions of water. Of course, today with the Google, you all can go and read, but still I like to mention here, it carries nutrient. It's a vehicle for it to carry all the important nutrients into the cell, and including the oxygen to the cells. Other than that, your vitamins, minerals, amino acids, glucose, everything is taken inside, and whatever responsible job the cell needs, it will pick it up, convert it into energy, and keep it. Now, if you're going to take a lot of glucose, what happens? The same lot of glucose will be converted into what I would say energy, and then it will be stored in the form of fat. Now, such of those who are all on the heftier side, what is happening is, not for everybody, but most of us, the fat what you have accumulated is nothing but unused energy, which is stored as fat. And this fat will not be able to convert it to energy immediately, easily. No way. You have to work for it, either through fasting or through proper exercising. Definitely, that fat can be dissolved, and then the energy can be utilized. But other than that, water plays such an important role in flushing out the toxins. Now, simple, in your house, if you don't have a drainage pipe for the wastewater to go out, what will happen? Have you ever thought of it? Even your toilet bowels, if it doesn't have an exit for it to take out all the thing, what happens? Everything gets clogged there. Now, we would have faced something like clogging situation in our home. The same way in our body, there are many factors which can clog your flow of water. I'm not going to go into details because that becomes too medical. Now, other than that, temperature. Now, have you ever wondered, when you feel a little warm, check your temperature and see it will be 38 degrees. It is like feverish, Of course, from our point of view, you have fever. But just drink water and see. Within the next half an hour, your body comes back to normal. Why is that? Because your water in the body comes down, automatically your fever goes up. There is some dehydration, one of the reasons for your fever. Now, other than that, have you ever seen your eyes all the time? It's moist, isn't it? When your eyes are open, other than sleeping, it's open. What happens? It's always moist. Now, what is that lubrication happening? It's all because the water, sufficient water is there. Have you seen people, especially dehydration, 10 to 15 times you have loose motion and then you go to the hospital, you can see the eyeball sunken, totally dry eyes, and the doctor immediately puts an IV line and then he flushes the water, the glucose and the other required nutrients through the fluid inside your vein. Now, what happens immediately within the next half an hour to 1 hour, you feel very rejuvenated. It's because your water is replaced. Now your joints, it is flexible, free. How is it? Now there are some people you may have a little bit of pain. Why? When there is a lot of uric acid inside your joints, what happens? Less of water. There is a lot of friction happening. Don't you feel there will be a pain? Definitely yes. Now, so that means water is necessary for lubrication as well. And then, of course, you want to have a digestive system very good. If you don't drink sufficient amount of water, what happens? Just like in any mixie, you just put all the ingredients and don't use water. How will it grind? Even though it's an electrically operated machine, it won't be able to grind unless you add a little bit of water because it makes it smooth. Same way, when you drink water also, it will help you to push and digest and pick up all the nutrients what you have eaten. So drinking water plays a very important role. Now there is something, this is a little more detailed information. What you need to understand is every cell has got some gates. There is a flood gates, like where water goes inside. It's called aquaporin. This aquaporin plays a very, very important role in the transporting the water inside and out. Now, once it is done, if the water goes inside, it takes all the whatever the oxygen, the glucose, the amino acids, the trace elements, everything goes inside. The cell knows what to do; it will utilize it and then throw out all the waste products through the same aquaporin. So there is always a constant mechanism of exchange happening in your cellular level, which you don't realize. Why you don't realize? We have 50 trillion cells in our body, 50 trillion cells, and we think that we are doing a great job by doing so many things outside ourselves, but inside our body, what is happening? None of us even look into it. None of us even think of it. So you should be very, very grateful to your body and the cell and the organs in such a manner that every moment of life you're living on this planet Earth, you should be very grateful and say thankful to your being alive, and all the cells in your body are functioning. Now, such of those who have a disease, don't worry. It's a very beautiful situation. From today, change. It doesn't matter what disease you have. Don't. It's okay. But what you need to understand is, let us start a change today, and then give a body an opportunity for it to heal. Then you can look for a cure. If you do not help your body to heal, never can you cure a disease. Okay. Now, in that way, what is happening is we need to understand that we need to understand that, give me a minute. Okay, now nobody can. All right. Okay, now we go into the details of water, which is very, very important. What are the different types of water? The tap water, spring water, well water, oasis water, ionized water, river water, distilled water, reverse osmosis water, structured water. This is a very, very beautiful subject by itself, because structured water is something very, very balanced to your body's cellular mechanism. That's why they have seen a lot of fantastic healing happening when you're drinking structured water. Now, for example, people can bring blessed water from Mecca, blessed water from a church, blessed water from a temple, or even the Ganges, they talk about the structured water. But what happens is, when you are consuming this structured water, it facilitates your body to do what it need to do, and thereby your body starts balancing. See what happens? It's just balancing I'm talking. When it balances, everything starts falling in place. That means to say, you have a disease, it heals. You have an issue inside, it heals. It starts balancing. So let me tell you, before healing to happen, you need to balance. Can you believe life is all a balance? We all need to be balanced in everything. The way we think, the way we respond to situation, the way we eat, the way we execute ourselves walking, the way we our gestures, everything plays a very important role in its balance. When it is in balance, everything falls in place. So this is where you need to understand. Today we are here to just discuss and share a knowledge about terahertz water. And let me go a little more detail. Ideal drinking water should be a pH of between 7.5 to 8. So such of those who are all using ionized water, I do understand you all will be very, very familiar with alkaline water going up to a pH of around 14. There are fantastic machines available which can produce alkaline water up to 14. And I have seen a few people with cancer drinking 12 to 13 pH of water. And he was from Singapore, and then he did share his testimony that his cancer, he got cured by drinking that high pH of water. But there is no clinical evidences, but still I would say the water pH for our body, for a normal person, should be between 7.4 to 8.4. Other than that, the total dissolved contents should be between 50 to 200. This is another important. You cannot have any total dissolvent more than 500, because I'm talking about dissolvent means it is talking about the heavy metals, the chemicals and the pesticides which are there in the water. So when you're talking about filtered water, it must be a clean and free from bacteria, viruses and parasites. So you need to look at buying a filtration system where you can have all these beautiful qualities so that you drink an ideal drinking water, which helps you. Of course, the preferably storage is clay pot is the best, but other than that, glass containers, ceramic vessels are good. But when you're talking about structured water, Schumann's energy water, there might be a little bit of disruption in the energy structure when you store it for a very long time. I would say if it is more than 4 hours, probably it can affect a little bit. But many times, let me tell you, even if you're going to, I give you the best of everything from the universe. That means that this is the best water. And you are a person with all the negativity in your mind, talking, for example, you're talking about COVID a lot and thinking about the fear of dying, the fear of the diseases. Let me tell you, even if I give you the best water also, what will happen? Nothing will happen, because water has got memory. I give you the best water and you're thinking negative. What happens? The water molecule also changes into the same negative situation. And when you're drinking that water, your body water also will change into the same negativity. So please understand, just by drinking water, do not expect miracles to happen. For the reason, your mind plays a very, very important. How is your mindset? Are you a positive mindset person, or are you a person going on brooding over your life, talking about negativity, talking about what is not there in your life, talking about the problems of life? If you are a person like that, please change. From today onwards, you don't have to do anything. Just be thankful to being alive on this planet Earth, and be thankful for whatever is happening inside your body. Forget about whether you have money or not, whether you have a place to live. It doesn't matter. But for you to live on planet Earth is still the biggest blessing. So what you do is just be thankful, and love yourself so much that every cell of your body starts becoming so happy that they start responding to your positivity, and they will definitely know what to do. I told you, they know what to do. They will bring you all what you want in your life, provided you give an opportunity to them. So now let's go to the next slide. Okay, there is a little bit of slack in my. Okay, today I spoke about the water and the types of water. Now we need to look into what is dehydration. Dehydration is a situation where the water inside your body is less. Now, how do you feel you are dehydrated or less of water? You will feel thirsty. Very simple, correct? Now, when you feel thirsty, do you drink water? This is a question you need to ask yourself. Do you drink? Now, I'll just give you an example. A person from Klang to KL, they want to drive and they are using an aircon. You think in an aircon atmosphere, you will feel thirsty? No way, right? Now, even though your cell wants water, what happens? You are not drinking water because you don't feel the thirst. Now, by chance, in spite of being in the aircon, you feel a little thirsty. What happens? You're driving and the water bottle is in the behind seat. How are you going to take? You're not such a person where you'll stop the vehicle, go pick up the water and drink. You're not going to do that. You will think, anyway, another half an hour only, let me go. The half an hour you drive and then you go into a meeting. What happens? You forget that you're supposed to drink water. The body has been telling you sir, please give me some more water. We are not doing. So what happens? The effect of no water will definitely be there for the cell, and the cell knows what to do. It will do all the job what it needs to do. What happens? When the concentration of your sodium, everything in the extracellular goes up, automatically your blood shoots up. Automatically you will have a slight headache. Automatically you are a little foggy, a little bit irritable, you know. Have you ever noticed that less of water can give you a situation of being irritable? This is all important signs which your body is speaking to you. But you will be thinking that you are irritable because of the situation in your office is making you know. That's only a trigger factor. So what happens when you go into a dehydration? There are a lot of things happening inside this. Always when you look at the cell level, that is when you will understand how your body is functioning. And cellular dehydration most of the time goes unnoticed, means you don't even realize. But other than that, dehydration will affect your metabolism, balance between intracellular, extracellular. Waste products get collected inside your body. Have you ever seen you don't have sufficient water, the waste product doesn't go out. So when the waste products are inside, what happens? You will have to face the problem of the waste product. Now, who has to go and throw it out? It is you who have to do it. You have to drink the water and you have to do what you're supposed to do. Now, other than that, many diseases can manifest just with less of water. It manifests. The diseases are there. So we have seen after people drinking terahertz resonated water, there are a lot of healing happening, but they feel so nice. Like Angie was telling, her cholesterol came down, the skin issues of her son came down. What happened? She just supplemented her body with the required amount of water. Maybe the toxins were more that it gets washed away. That's why your problem is solved. It's a very simple issue. So do not look into always into a disease and then a cure part. No, start looking at how to heal yourself. What are the things necessary for you to heal yourself? So brain cell function also very, very important. So drinking sufficient amount of water plays a very important role in this. I have to say this particular one of the organs which is very, very important, and people ignore it to the, I don't know what to say. A lot of people do not even know where is the kidneys located in the body. Other than that, they don't understand that drinking sufficient amount of water is so important. Now, can you see in the one of the kidneys, there are some round white color. They are nothing but the stones out there. How many of you all have faced a kidney stone situation? If you have faced, what is the pain you go through? And what is the kind of agony you go through? Just the stone, you know, one small stone can make your life so miserable that you go upside down. You will run to the hospital, and the doctors, what they need to do, of course, they will admit you, flush you with water. But if the stone is big, what they need to do? It has to be dissolved. Now, do you think the stone has just formed there in one day? No, it has been there for probably years, slowly forming. Why? Because you don't drink water. Very simple. When you drink sufficient amount of water, automatically it gets flushed out. So what is your problem in drinking water? I don't understand. And today, people can very proudly say that there are so many dialysis units out there, you know, dialysis centers for kidney failure patients. Is it a big deal? Of course, they are helping people. But why do you want to go to that situation where you have problems in your kidney? Drinking water is one of the safest and easiest thing. Have you ever anybody seen by drinking water they die? Have you ever seen anybody? No, isn't it? Because in God's creation, water plays it's basically a transporter. Now, do you think it will go and kill you? No way. So by drinking water, how many of you understand that it will not kill you? But if you have problems in your body, and then if you're drinking more water also is a problem, less water without the proper nutrients inside the water also is a problem. See here, balancing is very, very important. Now, kidney functions, very important. Can you see the four very, very important functions? Excretory, that means all the drugs and whatever you are. Now, imagine if you're a diabetic, you're consuming around 4-5 drugs. It has to be all the waste product has to be thrown out, isn't it? The liver picks it up, gives it to the kidney throws it up. Now, for this, you need water. Now, other than that, there needs to be a homeostasis. Now, inner environment, outer environment, it needs to be balanced. In this, let me tell you one thing. Most of us are so used in Malaysia to switch on the aircon and sit in the aircon for 8 hours comfortably with the temperature, how much? 16 degrees. Now, with 16 degrees, your body is already started using to it for 8 hours. Now, the 9th hour, you finish your job 5 o'clock and come out. Do you know what you need to do before you come out of your aircon atmosphere? You need to switch off the aircon 30 minutes before you come out to the environment external. Do you do that? No, right? What you do? Finish your job, just run, punch your machine, come out. And then what happens? Outside temperature is 30 degrees, inside you are in 16 degrees. Now, do you think the body will how the body is going to tell you? Sir, you are in 16 degrees, now suddenly putting me to 30 degrees. What am I supposed to do? How do you think the body is going to balance? It is difficult, isn't it? Have you ever thought of it? You don't even think. So normally when you're looking at air conditions, the temperature should be lesser by 3 to 4 degrees. If, for example, outside temperature is 30 degrees, you can keep between 25, 26 or 27. That's it. You cannot be keeping 16 degrees and then you feel so cold. And if you're feeling cold, why are you wearing a blanket? You should not, isn't it? So that means to say we do the wrong things and at the wrong time, and we expect our body to do everything so beautifully for you that it has to do the best for you. Why should it do the best for you when you do all the wrong things? It will not. It will only do wrong, and it'll teach you a lesson. You don't need to. It will teach you a lesson. So here, please look into yourself and start working from today. Change. It doesn't matter how you were until yesterday. Okay, other than that, the endocrine function, very important. Have you seen people with kidney issues? Their hemoglobin will be very less. Now, why? Because there is something from the uh, what is that? From the kidneys, it produces something called erythropoietin, which helps your blood. So in that way, once you lose your kidneys function to low down, all these four function will be a problem. Now, do you want all the four problem? Nobody is going to give you a kidney for you. Nobody in the world, Of course, you can have the money. Who is going to donate you a kidney? So better do not screw up your kidney to a level where you want to go for dialysis. Start looking at this. I'm talking for the normal people. I'm not talking about diseases, and that is causing a problem for the kidney condition. I'm not going into that. That is a different entity by itself. Now, one important message I need to give you in this filtration system: your kidneys has got 2 million, 1 million, 1 million, two kidneys, 2 million filters inside. You all, when you prepare coffee or tea, you have a filter, right? You pour the coffee or this in the filter, then the whole thing gets filtered, right? Now, this is also the same thing in your body. What you see on the right side is one filtration system. So you have 2 million filtration system. Now, what happens if because of your improper eating habits, improper toxins, everything going inside your body, it goes clogged inside your filter. Now, if you're 2 million filter and then you have 50,000 filters blocked, what will happen? Nothing will happen, right? Nothing will happen. You won't even know. But if there are 500,000 filters blocked, then there might be a little creatinine level, little high, and doctor will say, hey, your kidneys are not functioning okay, so you better look into it. So what they will say, you have to drink less of water because already the kidney is finding it difficult. But why that happened? It happened over a period of time. So in that way, what you need to understand is taking care of your kidneys plays a very, very important role, and hydration of kidneys also is important. But word of caution, over hydration, no good, no good, and no good. You cannot drink too much of water and then feel your body knows you're drinking more water, also the body will create more problem for you. So better be careful. Do not proudly say I'm drinking 4 liters of water, 5 liters of terahertz water. Please, you may land up in problem, and then finally don't blame the terahertz water for that. It's nothing to do with the terahertz water. It is you who have to balance what you need to do for your body. Now, today we're having something beautiful, something very fantastic, wherein we have something called terahertz technology, which is a newer technology, but I wouldn't say very new, but it's there for almost 30 years or 40 years ago. They did recognize this wave, but it came into existence from 2004. People started looking into it, and China also is one of the countries which already looked into a terahertz technology, and they started working on it. And there are, of course, a lot of users like 6G, aviation industry, medical devices, medicines, customs, all is there. But today, water, because water plays a very important role for you, and it is a low frequency. It works at a low frequency. Your terahertz is a low frequency, so it's an advantage. So what happens? What you see on the right side is a terahertz resonator, and which actually, when you expose the water, automatically it changes the molecular structure. So what happens? Any liquid exposed to terahertz resonator will affect the properties of the and change its molecular structure. Very, very important. Properties means very important. What you need to understand. Okay, your water has got a pH of 8. Okay, now you terahertz it. What happens? Maybe 8 to 8.1 to 8.2, the pH may change. What I notice in my house is it increases the pH about 2 points, but not too much. So it doesn't affect the pH. That's number one. Number two, the TDS, as I told you, TDS is something already there in your water. For example, you're drinking a direct tap water, your TDS will be above 500. So when it is above 500, what happens? Your TDS will be the same, but very dangerous for you. Why? When you are terahertzing, the whatever the heavy metals, everything becomes smaller. The water molecule becomes smaller. So what happens? The poison can go inside much more easily, isn't it? By drinking the terahertz water, especially the tap water. So you need to understand that you need to have a proper filtration system so that you drink a clean water. All right. Very important. So do not blame the terahertz water for whatever problems you're facing. You need to look a little more beyond that. So you can terahertz water, oil, juices, any liquids. I terahertz even my shampoo and then I use it. The lather is much more beautiful. I've tried terahertzing even Clorox. I know the smell is light, and you put little also, the cloths become brighter. I do all the experiments because I like challenges and I like to do what I need to do. What will happen? Worst come worst, the instrument might conk off. So what? I'll buy another instrument. It's still okay. But I need to know what is happening. So in the same way, you all need to go and test yourself. Do what you want to do. Do not put a money value for everything. In this, if you put money value, then my question to you would be, is how much of money value are you giving for your body? Can you give any money value? No, isn't it? It's all, you cannot place a value for your body. That's the function that your body does. Now, the most beautiful property you need to understand of terahertz technology is, of course, the linear technology, wherein all the molecules stand in one line. So what happens? It penetrates into your cell much more easily. See, this is an advantage. So what you're trying to do is you're actually giving an advantage for your body to absorb the water. So if you're going to give a poison inside the body after terahertzing it, it is more easier for the poison to go inside your body. That's it. So do not blame the instrument. The instrument does its job, what it needs to do. It breaks down the molecular structure smaller. Now the terahertz device works at 0.96 terahertz. Okay. Now, but what happens is once the molecular structure is broken, this water, the terahertz water, what we call whatever the resonated water, is 7.6. Now you know that 7.83 is the Schumann's energy, which is there in the ozone layer of the earth. And that's where the Schumann's energy is functioning. Now it protects us. It helps us a lot of beautiful things. Now Schumann's energy 7.83. Now our brain, this is something which I want to share, is our brain waves works from 0.3 to up to 30. If you're working, your brain waves going at 30, that means you're a very confused person. If it is the beta waves, which is between 14 to 18, is ideally you're conscious. That means you're driving a car, there is a traffic light, red light, you will stop at the red light. But imagine if your brain waves is going at 25 to 30, the same traffic light, red light is there, but your brain will tell it's okay, no policeman there, please drive and go. So what happens? You will drive the car, and definitely there are chances you may meet with an accident because you're going on the wrong direction. Now what happens? It's your brain waves, nothing else. It's going at a higher speed, doesn't have the sense of wisdom to do what is right. So for you to do what is right, your brain waves needs to go lower down. If it has to go lower down, you need to be very calm. You need to be a little composed in your life so that you are able to handle the situation. Now, can you see here, we are talking about a frequency of 7.6. What happens? Your brain waves is between theta waves and the alpha waves. It's between that. So when you're between theta and alpha waves, you are in a much more meditative state, In a meditative state, you will be able to receive information and send information much more beautifully. So what happens? You can speak to your cells. The cells also respond in a much more positive. Isn't that good when you're drinking a water with 7.6 hertz? That means over a long period of time, maybe you'll become much more wiser. Isn't that beautiful that you become wiser? So you need to understand it's a collective phenomenon of everything. So what happens? What are the best benefits of resonated water, especially terahertz technology? These are the 10 beautiful points you need to understand, that these are the benefits it gives. Now, do not tell me that, okay, I'm talking until 89% is reduced, especially in your intestines. Even about a person, you will call and say, oh, this person is in the ICU with full of bacterial infection or don't. You don't make things worse, you know. Of course it can help you, but what happens is, it is not, we are not talking when a person is going through some serious problem and you go and pop in and say, come drink this terahertz water, everything will fine. Don't do that, because the way our body is going to react is different. The way